Congress RJD extends support to Nitish as a mega anti-BJP front in the making now. Chirag Paswan criticizes Nitish Kumar but does not clarify on the alliance with other parties. Burning question. I'm Sujarata Kukreti. The BJP-JDU alliance in Bihar seems to be under the cloud. The two partners have been different opinions on multiple issues, but the tension is quite palpable now, with the JDU leaders openly talking about other alternatives. A mid-clear sign of divergence in the National Democratic Alliance partners in Bihar. Now, a marathon of meetings is scheduled for the upcoming days, while the ruling party JDU meets tomorrow. It's learned that the RJD and Congress in opposition have also called for a meeting of their MLAs. Will the two partners part ways? We debate after this report.
The escalating tensions between the BJP and JDU in Bihar is giving rise to several speculations, one of them being the fall of the alliance. In the past few months, BJP and JDU have been facing differences in opinion on multiple issues. Recently, after the resignation of former minister and JDU leader RCP Singh, the JDU alleged that the BJP was planning to use Singh like Chirag Paswan to plan the party's downfall.
Now again, after forming the government with the BJP for 5 years, they were jittery, both the BJP and the JDU, and there was a certain degree of mistrust.
Meanwhile, it is also indicated that Nitish Kumar may have spoken to Congress President Sonia Gandhi on the political situation in the state. The Congress too seems to be gearing to take advantage of the situation.
The politics of Bihar would pave a new line to the politics of the nation. And Bihar would take lead in that direction. If the like-minded oppositions get united along with Mahagathbandhan, and it would be a great thing to save the democracy, to save the freedom of the people from Bihar.
While others may go solo and wait for the right time.
And eventually, and I think we should go in for a midterm poll. I think Janata Dal United should go in for a midterm poll. Mukhyamantri ji should call for elections, and for once he should try and contest alone. For once he should stop looking forward to alliance. If he's so confident of his Vikas ka model, if he's so confident of his Vikas ki rekha, so go out, reach out to the people, contest alone.
While parties are looking for alternatives,
नहीं सब कुछ ठीक तो नहीं चल रहा है, सब कुछ जो है सरकार में ठीक नहीं चल रहा है। अब इधर जो बैठक बुलाई गई है, हमारे यहाँ भी बैठक बुलाई गई है, हम जानते नहीं हैं, हमारी बातचीत नहीं है, न तेजस्वी से हमने इस बारे में पूछा है, न जगदानंद सिंह से पूछा है, और उधर भी जो बैठक बुलाई गई है, मांझी जी की बैठक बुलाई गई है, ये सब क्या हो रहा है ये हम नहीं जानते।
And the government in power continues to assert itself.
अरे गठबंधन से संतुष्ट रहिए ना, अभी तक तो गठबंधन में है। अब कल बैठक होने के बाद क्या निर्णय लेते हैं नहीं लेते हैं, हम लोग को बुलाया गया है। आरजेडी के लोग भी अपने विधायक को, सारे विधायकों को रखा है रोक के।
And as the BJP goes to the wait and watch mode, but will the simmering tensions mean a fall of the BJP-JDU government in Bihar?
It looks like an unholy alliance to defeat the BJP, but for the survival, both Lalu and Nitish may come together with the support of the Congress party and the left parties, and soon a Nitish-led government with the help of RJD will be formed in Bihar, and the split between the BJP and the JDU looks imminent.
And let me introduce my guest to you on Burning Question tonight. I have political analyst Binay Singh joining us on the show. Lok Jan Shakti Party spokesperson and General Secretary Dr. Ajay Kumar Pandey joins us on the show. So does Karan Verma, author and political analyst. I will be having Mayank Sinha joining us on the show. He's the leader of the JDU. Congress leader Lokesh Jindal joins us, and so does political analyst Tanvi Pruthi. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on Burning Question. And let me begin with Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, have there been open talks between Sonia Gandhi and Nitish Kumar? The whole day there was a buzz that the two leaders have spoken and they're talking about a political alliance in Bihar. What is the latest on that, Lokesh Jindal?
Well, the government in Bihar, which was formed in 2020, right from the beginning, was not very much a cordial and a smooth affair. In fact, in 2020 itself, the JDU had complained that NDA, it has hatched a conspiracy by asking Chirag Paswan to contest the elections independently. And recently, the JDU chief Rajiv Ranjan Singh pointed out that there were two conspiracies. Right, the first was the Chirag model of 2020, and the second was recently when RCP Singh was being brought. In fact, BJP tried to do the Maharashtra in Bihar itself. And as the situation is also evolving economically, there is inflation, unemployment at the grassroots level. There is mass unrest because of centre's policy. In fact, the state political parties, they are getting in tune. They are realizing that BJP is on a self-destructive mode. Any form of alliance with such a political party is going to harm them politically. And that is what is taking place in Bihar. Right now, Nitish Kumar, RJD, and all the political factions, they are coming together to save the democracy of the country. They know that the common man is suffering due to the policies at the center. And
right.
They are all
Lokesh Jindal, you get another opportunity to attack the BJP, and rightly so for you. But my question was that is there anything, has anything emerged out of the talks between Sonia Gandhi and Nitish Kumar? Have the two leaders spoken today?
Well, it will, because right now the grassroots reality is that of a total social unrest, we would say, a complete economic catastrophe. And political parties who are like-minded, like the DMK and now the JDU, RJD, they are all coming together so as to form a common ground to save the democracy of the country, to save emancipate a common man out of this suffering.
Okay. Now, Binay Singh ji, this catastrophe that Lokesh Jindal is speaking about, this catastrophe is in the country, the crisis is in the country, or it has to do with the political career of one man?
Sucharita, I don't see any crisis. Look, JDU is not BJP and BJP is not JDU. They both are different parties and they have a CMP. So what does CMP means? Not common maximum program. That is a common minimum program. So you agree on certain minimum things. You don't have maximum agreement. So there are disagreements because both are different parties, both have different ideologies, both have different inclinations, both have different agendas. So they came up with a CMP, common minimum program. So this is not for the first time that there are disagreements. There is a history of that. Since you can see there has been many instances where BJP or JDU, they differed from each other. So, and Nitish Kumar meeting Sonia Gandhi, so look, this is a democracy, and to meet Sonia Gandhi, Nitish Kumar doesn't need a passport or a visa, So, anybody can meet anyone. Sonia Gandhi belongs to a political party, Nitish Kumar has a political party, they can meet for other reasons. So, it doesn't, you cannot conclude that there is a catastrophe, the Bihar government, is the BJP-JDU alliance is going to split. So, I think it is too early to, conclude the things. And look at the Tejasvi Yadav, they have been out of power for a long time. They're power-hungry people. So their mouth is watering to come into power anyhow. So they can, sense a catastrophe or they can say that it is a catastrophe. But I don't smell anything like that. And again, what is between Nitish Kumar and RCP Singh? They are both from the same party. So it's an internal matter. And what BJP has to do with that? BJP has nothing to do with that. It's an internal matter, Sucharita. So blaming BJP or sensing something, I think it is too early. And
so I would like to
as a political analyst, it is not the time to sense something, like that.
So Dr. Ajay Kumar,
yes,
if I can have Ajay Kumar,
it's a normal affair. It's a normal
Dr. Ajay Kumar, what? Can we have Dr. Ajay Kumar?
I would like to add some.
Can we have Dr. Ajay Kumar on screen, please? Because I cannot see him on screen. Yes. Dr. Kumar, it's very clear how today Chirag Paswan very clearly said that Nitish Kumar is confused. He does not know. Now, we've seen him take ample of U-turns in this political career, and I'm sure the people of Bihar are more well-versed with it than anyone else. So now another U-turn is on the course?
Of course, it is just not a U-turn, but it is the best example of a turncoat for the sake of the power. Nitish Kumar has failed on every front, and it is good that now BJP is realizing. We gave them a warning signal to BJP about the fate of the Nitish Kumar in the previous assembly election. But I don't know what was the political compulsion for BJP to tarnish their image in Bihar. See, the Janganna issue, the caste census issue, he was very clearly hobnobbing with the Tejasvi Yadav in the same Bangla. Even at that time, BJP couldn't read this. I'm shocked. I'm surprised.
Sir, Nitish Kumar
And
was
what
very
he's
clear
saying-
of his political
what
objectives.
he's saying
He
is
broke
that
the alliance in
Chirag
2013.
is
The
the
moment
agent
Narendra
of
Modi was nominated by the BJP.
Let Nitish Kumar note it that Chirag Paswan and Ram Vilas Paswan are the agent of people of Bihar. And we will go to any extent for our cause of Bihar first and Bihari first. We do not need to act on somebody's behest. Let Nitish Kumar address his house. He is facing problem from his people.
Now he's facing problem from his own people. Now, Tanvi Pruthi, if there seems to be a possible breakout in the JDU, that people within the party now want another leader to take over, because that is at least what RCP Singh says. He says that now there is a need for a change within the party. And is it that difficult for Nitish Kumar to relent? Because he's always known as someone who's led from the front, but now somewhere the entire reign is weakening?
Yes, there could be a vertical split in the party, because that's, the BJP's modus operandi and how they deal with their own allies, when their allies are posing problems. But, keeping the politics aside for a while, let's assess the last 2 decades of Bihar. In the last 2 decades, Bihar has only seen Nitish Kumar's style of politics. Now, the Sushasan Babu style of politics initially showed some results, and I don't say that his entire tenure has been a failure, but now it has reached stagnation. I honestly see the end of Nitish Kumar's political career. And Bihar also desperately...
Okay, we've lost
Nitish Kumar's party, then Hello? Am I audible?
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Tanvi.
Yeah.
You just lost you for a few seconds.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that, Bihar desperately needs a new face and some new ideas of governance. So if RJD today decides to, go ahead with the alliance with Nitish Kumar's party, we should remember that in 2015 and in 2020, they were the largest party in Bihar. It should be the one putting out the CM, because let's accept that the Nitish Kumar magic era is over now.
No, but how are you trying to say that a possible alliance between RJD and JDU would be the one with fresh ideas? You're saying Bihar needs fresh ideas, so JDU and RJD combined will get those fresh ideas for Bihar. You're saying that is the fresh alliance, Karan. Karan, that is the bed of fresh ideas, RJD and JDU coming together.
Look, Sucharita, the fact that Nitish Kumar is a turncoat is something that perhaps even Nitish Kumar won't deny now. He's had so many flip-flops in his career, and the more the things change, the more they remain the same. They've not learned their hard lesson. What happened in Maharashtra? When 3 incompetent parties who have not won the mandate of the people, when they generally cobble together an alliance with no ideology, binding them together, people punish you. You might last for a year, 12 months, 18 months, and Nitish Kumar himself has had that experience. Back in 2015, they could barely last for 2 years when they had to pull the plug on that one. So Nitish Kumar is someone who is way past his heydays. His political capital is dwindling. We saw that in 2020. Ever since then, it's been very clear that BJP should be the alpha player in Bihar politics. But unfortunately, and maybe because of some pre-poll compulsions, they went ahead with Nitish Kumar. But now Nitish Kumar is feeling insecure, and he's always nurtured prime ministerial ambitions. As much as it's a joke in the corridors of Delhi, the fact is he does nurture prime ministerial ambitions. They won't come to fruition ever.
Okay. Karan, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you now. Abhishek Jha, spokesperson for the JDU, joins us on Burning Question. Abhishek ji, the point that is being made, and I think I would like to reiterate what RCP Singh said. He said that 7 janam mein pradhan mantri nahi ban sakte hain. Nitish Kumar and people on the panel today in the show, they're saying that it is his prime ministerial ambition which is yet again coming forward and is going to be responsible for the breakup of the alliance. What is happening?
Is there any confirmed news that the NDA alliance is about to split? Your officials also came in the press conference yesterday when our party's national president, Honorable Lalan Singh, answered the question of the media personnel. Media personnel asked him that whether everything is okay in the alliance or not. He just answered that all is well. If we had any confusion regarding the alliance, we would not have supported the candidate in the presidential election, in the vice presidential elections, the candidates who were supported by the NDA entirely. So these all are cooked up stories. These are the anticipations of the media, of some other people. They are saying that alliance is about to break. There is no confirmed news with anyone. People are just anticipating. And so we did not react much on these issues.
Okay, no, they're anticipating, but then why does Lalan Singh say that there is a conspiracy to topple the Nitish government? Who is conspiring to topple the government, A, and B, why have there been multiple moments in the recent past, and I think in the last week, where Nitish Kumar has missed out meetings with the Prime Minister, with the Home Minister, and he has been attending other programs, but he was not part of the Niti Aayog program yesterday as well.
You have asked so many questions. Honorable Nitish Kumar was not able to attend some functions. The reasons behind it can be explained by him, but we all know that he has suffered from COVID last days, and he must not be feeling so well so that he can go to Delhi and attend any function. On the other hand, you just mentioned the fact that there was a conspiracy. People of Bihar entirely know who was behind that conspiracy, who has established this Chirag model. We are not naming any party or any organization. Our party's national president, Lalan Singh Ji, has told that when right time will come, we will surely tell about the people who were behind such conspiracy, and JDU is all set to just revert and give good answer to the people who are conspiring to damage JDU at any time.
Okay, you're going to be giving a befitting reply, but is that a befitting reply, Biray Singh ji, going to be an alliance with the RJD and the Congress? Because the talks have been such that Nitish Kumar has been has spoken to Sonia Gandhi. He's also now in touch with Tejasvi Yadav. Also news coming in of Tejasvi Yadav maybe being a possible candidate for a deputy CM post.
Deputy CM.
Sucharita, look, nothing is permanent in this world, and even in politics is the same. Nothing is permanent in politics. So politics means change. It means upgradation in leadership, upgradation in the quality of the people, those who have voted for you, the voters, the people of this country. So it means change. So if somebody tells that change is required, so you don't take it very offensive, or there is nothing to get pissed about that, or there is nothing to feel bad about that. No one is permanent on the any post in politics. And anyway, so look, what is the basic difference between JDU and RJD? That both are regional parties, but RJD is a dynastic party. JDU is not, nobody knows who are the family members of, the JDU, CM Nitish Kumar. But if you look at RJD, mother, father, brother, sister, relatives of relatives, they all are into the politics. They all want to contest election. They all are into the MLAs, MPs. They all are, so there is no space for any other. So what BJP said, or that they are not against regional parties, but they are against the dynastic parties. So politics must be open to all.
Sir, wasn't PDP a dynastic
bottom of the pyramid? People coming from the bottom of the pyramid, all spheres of life. And look what has happened, Sucharita, just a minute. Look at the Prime Minister. Look at the President of India and the recent, elected Vice President of India. They all come from a very humble background. They don't have a badge of dynasty. So this is what the Prime Minister says and the BJP party president says, that they are against not the regional parties. They are not against the parties like JDU or the parties like, in Orissa, Naveen Patnaik's parties. But they are against RJD type of parties, those who are just based on dynasty. Nothing
sir, please answer.
else you can see other than dynasty. No vision, nothing. No
okay,
vision,
now
nothing.
Tanvi wants to make a point.
So people coming here and saying that
I'll come to Lokesh. Tanvi wants to make a point. Tanvi, go ahead.
Sucharita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is it
Tanvi, go ahead.
Can I go? Yeah, I just want to point out that, BJP is an alliance in Haryana with JJP and Dushyant Chautala ji is a dynast. So for God's sake, I think that they can keep that dynast, their entire this कि हमें dynasty politics हटाना है India से aside. When they are in power, जब वो शिवसेना के साथ alliance में होते हैं with the Thackeres, then dynasty is okay. But once dynasty is in opposition, then they are anti-dynasty. So I think it's a bit of a hypocrisy there.
Okay, now it's very clear with the kind of points that are being made. Let me go across to Abhishek once again. Abhishek and Karan on screen, please. Abhishek, very, very clearly, relationships being mended now with the RJD. The Chacha-Bhatija equation is coming back into foray now in Bihar. Now we'll see cordial meetings and also cordial, bites being given for each other. Are we going to see that in the next 24 hours happening in Bihar?
See, when you are into social life, when you are into active politics, we do not have any personal rivalry with anyone. It is just a matter of sake that we condemn each other's ideology. You must have seen the pictures when Honorable Nitish Kumar ji went to Rabdi Devi's house and there was an iftar party, or some other instances also RJD leaders came to JDU's iftar party, but you cannot correlate such situations to the result that someday or the other we are going to be in an alliance.
Abhishek, the time JDU broke with the RJD, Tejasvi said Nitish Gaddar hai. Those are not ideological differences. Let me remind you, please. Those are not ideological differences. Those were, and I want. So what I'm trying to get at is that we've seen that kind of exchange in the past. Now we'll see that whole mending, or maybe it's probably on the way already.
There have been so many instances like that. But on the basis of some pictures in the recent past that our party members to their party members came to a common place, or we had some kind of chit chat or kind of talk. Even Tejasvi Yadav went to meet the Honorable Prime Minister with Honorable Chief Minister Nitish Kumar ji. These all are not enough to judge the fact that things have mended or we are going to be in some kind of alliance. It's just a mere anticipation of the people, of some people, and the media houses that something fishy is happening in Bihar. Our party's national president has
just the media houses. You want to now just blame it all on the media, Abhishek? So the conversation between Nitish Kumar and Sonia did not happen. The media made it. The parliamentary board meetings for the RJD, for the JDU is not happening. The media made it. Now the mending of relationships between Tejasvi and Nitish Kumar, Ajay Kumar ji, is not happening. It's the media's creation. Nothing is happening in Bihar. कुछ बड़ा नहीं हो रहा. It's the media's creation. Ajay Kumar ji.
Is there any confirmation from any side?
They should be ready to see the truth in their face. I can only warn them, बुरे काम का बुरा नतीजा, क्यों भाई चाचा, क्यों भतीजा. The people of Bihar are not fool, and this open loot of mandate will not be allowed. If at all they are so proud of their achievement and Vikas model, let them go to the hustings and face the people of Bihar, and they are the ultimate judge, and they will stamp whether Nitish Kumar politics is required in Bihar or is to be thrown in the Indian Ocean outside the Bihar.
No. So Ajay Kumar ji, now the JDU very clearly saying there was a Chirag model that was thrown at them, and that was also an attempt to break down the party. Now there's another attempt being made. So they're very clearly accusing Chirag Paswan and then saying that another same kind of a...
Let Nitish learn this lesson, that it is not every time the Chirag model, it is their own fault, it is his ego, it is his style of politics. At one hand, he talks of liquor ban in Bihar, and thousands of people die every day in the huge tragedy. Do I need to quote many more examples of his contradictory style of politics? You know he is afraid. CBI is behind him. ED is behind him.
Okay, I'm being told that Mayank Sinha has joined us from the JDU.
Is going to come out, and he is afraid of that. That's why he is indulging into and signing off with another scammer, that is Sonia and Rahul Gandhi. ED is not going to leave.
Okay, so please let me know when Mayank Sinha is through. Leader of the JDU is through. Please let me know. I will go across to Lokesh. Lokesh, is this not true that the 2024 model for the opposition to defeat Narendra Modi does not happen without Nitish Kumar? So you guys have been eyeing Nitish Kumar for some time now, and now with the kind of the breakthrough that has the breaking up in the party that has taken place now has given you that opportunity to now move ahead with Nitish Kumar for a possible alliance.
See, Nitish Kumar had resigned from the alliance when Narendra Modi ji was made the head of the NDA, was made the face of the NDA. That was way back in 2013. The alliance
that was 8 years back.
Was an alliance. No, let me tell you, the 2020
that was 8 years back. There have been so many twists and turns since then. Are we going to keep harping about that?
Now, again, if you talk about the BJP is again repeating what it usually does. In 2020, the whole nation knows that it was BJP who had fielded the Paswans so as to reduce the vote count of the JDU. Even the JDU knows this. The Chirag model of 2020 was done to harm the
Lokesh Jindal, you people had an alliance of convenience in Maharashtra. You are speaking about an alliance of convenience. Come on, Lokesh Jindal. Come on, Lokesh. You cannot be speaking about an alliance of convenience. What was there in Maharashtra? Was there an ideological alliance? No. Everyone knew about it. So that's precisely why it broke up. Now, so let's not talk about alliance of convenience.
Subject and thereby a gradual centralization has to be brought about.
So why you are crying now? We do not command.
Sir, nobody is crying. Nobody is crying. What about the center's policy? Sir, please tell me.
That what you
no, please tell me after introduction of GST, Finance Commission's demolition of funds, farm laws, IS/IPS rules, isn't the central government transgressing into the functioning of the state government?
Why you are complaining?
Hasn't it made the state administration subordinate to the head of central administration? The entire nation is right now. You know there is a reason why there are governments who are not attending the Niti Ayog's meeting, governing council meeting, because the center is over-centralizing its power. There has been a complete disregard of the state administration, and that is the reason why RJD is coming along with JDU so as to preserve the constitution, which is having a federal model as the basic structure.
No, you are realizing now. when we are demanding opening of the
Sir, we
railway
are
slip
here to save the democracy. We do not
realizing
want this
now
entire
when we are
constitution,
demanding of opening of the
democracy,
modern
institutions
charges,
to be
Nitish Kumar in
completely
Nalanda.
destroyed. The manner in which they have destroyed the national emblem of the country.
Now, what's wrong with the national emblem? You
Sir,
are not
everything is
attacking
wrong with the
president.
national emblem.
The national emblem now.
You are not coming for the deputy president function.
Everything. Is that the reason the coalition is breaking up in Bihar?
The reason
Come
is
on,
simple.
Lokesh Jindal,
The
now you blame
government
it on
at
the national
center is
emblem
not
for
functioning
political parties to break away in
It is not
Bihar.
functioning democratically. There is a reason for all opposition parties to come together to save the democracy of this country. As simple as clear.
No, but that's the same. That was the same excuse that was given once Nitish Kumar broke away from the RJD. Now again, you cannot be parting ways on
What is
possibly the
happening
same
right now in the
argument every
country?
time.
The
Karan,
ED is being misused.
Karan,
There is
is that-
authoritarianism in
you
the
cannot
country.
be giving the same argument and parting ways again and again.
Tell me one thing, madam. When farm laws were introduced, we all know how the
Wait, we
parliament
can't
was
hear Karan.
supported. And after that, in 1 year, suddenly the government comes out with the excuse, "Hum samjha nahi paaye." Now, is this a mockery?
I'm not able to get Karan's audio. Can we get Karan's audio, please?
Am I audible now?
Now, a possible alliance cannot be breaking again and again for the same
Sucharita.
pretext and the same excuse, Karan, is what I'm asking. Yes.
Look, Sucharita, Lokesh has said democracy and we are here to save the constitution. Well, if Jungle Raj is associated with anything, it is associated with Mr. Lalu Prasad's years. And if emergency is associated with anything, it's Congress party. So please don't wear this garb of saving constitution and democracy.
Sir,
Say it
your
out loud
rhetorics,
that
they
you
do
are
not have
frustrated
factual
that you
base
have been
and a
out of
poor
power
understanding of
in
what happened in the
Maharashtra.
past.
And now you want power.
You are
so
simply
you are
talking like
seeking
a
backdoor
jumla.
entry.
A person who
You are
has
seeking a
done his
backdoor
graduation
entry
from
in
the
Bihar.
WhatsApp University. It was
The fact
Congress
is
who
you have
gave this
not been
country
able
the
to
fundamental
win people's
basis on
mandate in any
which
state.
the
Now you
political
keep labeling.
institutions they stand.
Because you are getting
It was
excused,
Congress which
because
gave
you are getting
MSP to the
exposed,
country.
you
It
will
was
keep
Congress
ranting.
who established PSUs.
You will
The
keep
very
ranting.
PSUs with BJP is hell bent upon privatizing.
The truth is,
It was
Lokesh,
Congress who
you have lost
introduced
people's
all
mandate
forms of
everywhere.
reforms.
There is not a single state, barring Rajasthan, where you have power. And Chhattisgarh.
Sir,
You have
let
lost
the time,
power, so
let
you
the
are
time
looking
come.
for a
I
backdoor
would be very
entry.
happy to disappoint you.
You have come
because
down to a
you
point
cannot
where
feel the
ideology
times
doesn't
are
matter to
changing
you.
right now. People are
Ideology
fed up
doesn't
of this
matter
form
to
of
you.
a government.
All that you are trying to do is grasp at straws, somehow clutch onto some power, but trust me, the more you
all
try,
that
the
your
more
government
you
is
are
doing right
JDU
now
leader Mayank
is
Sinha
to
joining us on burning question.
some form of a-
Let me go across to Mayank Sinha ji. Mayank Sinha, I clearly remember, and I said this earlier in the program, that Tejasvi Yadav, when the alliance with the RJD broke, Tejasvi Yadav called Nitish Kumar Gaddar. Now, do you remember that, or you have chosen to forgive and forget and move ahead?
देखिए, हमने तो अभी हमारा तो अलायंस अभी बीजेपी के साथ है। अब किसने क्या बोला उसकी बात तो हम भी नहीं कर सकते। हम तो अभी बीजेपी के साथ सरकार चला रहे हैं। तो हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष भी कल बताए थे कि अभी हम सरकार में हमारे जो आपको कुशवाहा जी हैं, उपेंद्र कुशवाहा जी जो पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के अध्यक्ष हैं, उन्होंने ये बताया कि अभी हम सरकार में। किसने क्या बोला इसके बारे में तो मैं नहीं बता सकता।
नहीं, किसने क्या बोला, ये इतिहास की बात हो रही है। पहले बोला था जब आरजेडी से अलग हुए थे। सर, मैं इसलिए पूछ रही हूँ कि जो गद्दार कहेगा उसे तो आप माफ नहीं करेंगे ना सर, या फिर माफ कर देंगे, आगे बढ़ जाएंगे? सिर्फ पूछ रही हूँ।
बहुत बातें राजनीति में कही जाती है, बहुत लोग बहुत बातें कर चुके हैं, बहुत बातें बोली गई है एक दूसरे के साथ, ठीक है। तो राजनीति में क्या किसने बोला ये तो अब हम तो ये बात तो आरजेडी के लोग ही बता सकते हैं कि क्या बोले, किस संदर्भ में बोले। और अभी तो हम लोग सरकार में हैं बीजेपी के साथ, तो हम तो अभी जो अलायंस है उसी की बात कर सकते हैं।
तो मयंक सिन्हा जी, ये अलायंस रहेगा? आपकी बिहार की जनता जानना चाह रही है सर, क्योंकि इस गठबंधन को लेकर इतने सवाल उठ गए, so many questions regarding the alliance. तो उन्हें बताइए कि अलायंस रहेगा, इस पर इतने सवाल क्यों उठ रहे हैं फिर?
Our president already declared all these issues in the last day. ठीक है, whatever he told, मुझे उसमें कोई ऐड करने का कोई तो जरूरत है नहीं उस एक भी शब्द को लेके. उन्होंने तो सारा कुछ क्लियर कर रखा है, और पार्लियामेंट्री चेयरमैन इज आल्सो क्लियर ऑल दिस थिंग्स, ऑल द फैक्ट्स रिगार्डिंग फॉर आवर अलायंस. तो हमें उसमें क्या बोलना है? उसमें तो कोई बात ऐड करने का जरूरत है नहीं. उन्होंने तो सारा कुछ क्लियर कर चुके हैं, कल भी बता चुके हैं कि हमारा.
अच्छा ठीक है, मैं अजय कुमार जी से पूछ लेती हूँ. लेट मी आस्क अजय कुमार जी. अजय कुमार जी, अभी बोलने के लिए नहीं है, या फिर अभी पता नहीं है कि बोलना क्या है, किसके समर्थन में बोलना है, किसके साथ जाना है, अभी रात तय होनी है?
सुचरिता जी, ये सवाल मेरे से है, लोक जनशक्ति पार्टी से?
जी जी जी, नहीं, I asked you because he is saying, Mayank Sinha ji is very clearly saying that whatever has been said. We don't have anything to add. Now maybe those additions and subtractions are being made behind closed doors, and then we'll be told what is the final announcement.
I really salute Mayank Sinha ji for this candid honesty on your show. He is right. Nitish Kumar changes stances every minute, so it is very difficult for their spokesperson to comment on the next move. Do you remember the caste census issue, where he was at one stage demanding BJP to come together, and the night party and the dinner party was going on with Tejasvi Yadav? The entire country has seen that on the screen. So it is nothing new. It is the same Nitish Kumar who sends the thali back to Modi ji when he wants to donate it to the flood victims of Bihar. So not putting his picture. The other day when BJP was having its National Council meet in Patna, the kind of a statement coming from Lalan Singh and Nitish Kumar, the entire nation has watched. So I really salute Sinha Sahab, because he is right. He is ready to swallow any bitterest peel for the sake of power. Nitish Kumar will go down in the history as the most power-hungry politician. In single night, all these years he has ruled Bihar, blaming Lalu, Jungle Raj, and now that Jungle Raj is turning into Swarg Raj. Reply Sinha Sahab.
आप भी तो लालू जी के साथ नहीं गठबंधन किए थे क्या? एलजेपी ने लालू जी के साथ गठबंधन नहीं किया था?
अरे
आप अपना पार्ट आपने भी
अपना बताइए ना.
आप भी मेरी बात को सुन लिया जाए. आपको जब आप जो बोल रहे थे तो मैं सुन रहा था. आप जो ये बात कह रहे हैं कि ही इज हंग्री फॉर द पावर, ही इज नॉट हंग्री फॉर द पावर, ही इज द प्राइमा फेसाई ऑफ द Nitish Kumar ji, only the focus for the development, nothing much more is. और आप जो ये बात कह रहे हैं कि पावर के है, तो आपने कौन सा मतलब छोड़ दिया? आपको पावर नहीं पसंद है क्या? आपके नेता को पावर पसंद नहीं है क्या? आपने 2020 में क्या किया? नहीं, कोई भूल गया क्या?
आपको पावर से बाहर आके फॉर द बिहारी फर्स्ट एंड बिहार फर्स्ट.
हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी कल सब कुछ बता चुके हैं कि उसमें मुझे कोई ऐड नहीं करना है कोई वर्ड को, और कोई सब्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करना है कोई वर्ड को. ठीक है, और जो होगा वो देखा जाएगा.
आप बताइए ना बिहार की जनता को जो सच है.
बट मयंक सिन्हा जी, अगर द अलायंस विद बीजेपी इज ऑन, एज यू सेड that you're still in an alliance with the BJP, then why having a backdoor conversation with Sonia Gandhi? Is it not true that Nitish Kumar ji spoke with Sonia Gandhi?
I am not aware of the facts regarding for the call conversation with UPA leader Sonia Gandhi ji. I am not aware of the facts. He made the conversation with Sonia Gandhi ji or not. I am not aware of the facts.
Okay, you're not aware of the fact. Now, very clearly, what is transpiring, Karan, in Bihar, is there a fear that there is a repeat of Maharashtra in Bihar? Is there a fear that Nitish Kumar may go on the same track as Uddhav Thackeray? Because RCP Singh says that there are people in the party who do not side with Nitish Kumar any longer.
Well, there is every chance that it might go that way. And, actually the fact is nobody is holier than thou in Bihar politics today. But I liked one suggestion of Chirag Paswan when he says that for once Nitish Kumar should actually face the music and should go about it alone and see where he stands in the court of people. I think that is where the common man would be vindicated if all of them go and stand on their feet and let's see who actually gets the maximum mandate within people. If JDU cobbles up another alliance today, it will be their death knell because people in the new India, people look through these nefarious designs. People are getting very decisive with their mandates. And when they see cobbled up alliances which lack conviction or which lack ideology, they punish them heavily at the ballot. And that is what we are going to see if Nitish Kumar trends that route. It's going to end with a death knell for him and his political ambitions. I think he should go about it alone whenever he plans to go.
No, that is a very interesting suggestion. Now, Tanvi, what Karan is saying that let's just see how much each one of them weighs, and that's not bad. How much each one of them weighs, because it's always been a coalition in Bihar. But let's see how much Nitish Kumar really gets back from the people of Bihar, and that can only be tested in an election.
True.
Tanvi,
could you please repeat the question? I lost you.
Tanvi, what Karan is saying that everyone will, the people of Bihar will be giving it back to the leaders. It will be like a repayment because there have always been coalitions in Bihar. They've not really fought an election on their own, just a single party, and then saying that we have got it all from the people. We've got it back from the people. It's always been a coalition. So let's see how much each one of them weighs.
Yes.
Okay, so now we've lost Tanvi. Right, so we've lost Tanvi now. Lokesh Jindal, if you could respond to that, because we are not able to hear Tanvi. Yes.
Come again. Can you please repeat the question?
Okay, so instead of repeating it, let me just Karan, if you could see what clearly is happening now. Let me just repeat a few big things that have transpired in the politics of Bihar. Now, Lokesh Jindal, very clearly, it's being said that Sonia Gandhi and Nitish Kumar have had talks. They've discussed a possible alliance. Now, Tejasvi Yadav and Nitish Kumar have had talks because Nitish Kumar also may be willing to offer the deputy CM post again to Tejasvi Yadav. Now, all this is happening at a time when Mayank Sinha here sitting on Burning Question says that we are still in an alliance with BJP. Now, what really is happening?
See, Mr. Sinha is absolutely right that they are still in alliance with BJP. But what is more important is to understand what's happening in the country altogether. I told you before that the BJP government at the center is transgressing into every state government and administration. And whatever regional political parties they are, whether it is RJD, whether it is JDU, LJP, all of these political parties are realizing that the BJP's and its laws, such as the IAS, IPS rules which have been modified, the GST, and then we come up with farm laws, finance commission's recommendation for devolution of funds, all of them. Sir, please do not interject. All of these
you have a habit of
all of these measures
don't give sermons or interjections.
Transgressing the state administration and the state government. They are undermining the Schedule 7 of the Constitution, and that is one of the major reasons for
under the Niti Aayog, the maximum funds have been given to the state. So this is factually incorrect, Lokesh.
Do you know the reality of all the state government?
I know the reality. I am giving you facts. 42% has been given to the states. So please get your facts right.
Even with
the maximum funds ever in the history have been given to the states.
Even with respect to the deputation
even with regards to
police officers or
none of the suggestions were given in writing to the centers. So please get your facts right.
Officer would not
if anything, the federal structure has been strengthened by the BJP government. The current NDA government has done more for the federal structure than any government in the past.
Wants to centralize this political-administrative system, which is
what
being
about
resisted
me?
to
You
by
have
all
no
regional
points to
political
that.
parties.
Maximum funds
DMK,
ever given to states by the
JDU,
center.
JDS, Shiv Sena,
all are
Shiromani
imploding
Akali
from
Dal,
within.
all
All
of them
these
are
parties
realizing
have lost
that by
touch with the
siding with
people
BJP,
and they are
the
imploding from
states
within. They
are, the
cannot
state
take
regional
on
political
BJP
parties
in
are
the
on the
courts of
verge
people.
of
Let
completely
them challenge
losing their
BJP. Let
entire
them go without
existence.
any sort of alliance. Let them fight it out in front of the people.
Sir,
Win the mandate on their own.
talking
Don't
without
give
any
sermons.
basis and it's empty
Don't
rhetoric.
give sermons.
You
You
please
are
tell
talking
me
without
one
basis.
instance
I
where
give
the
you
center
facts.
it has respected
42%
the
of
federal
funds have
mandate
been
of the
given back to the
constitution.
states. 42% of funds have been given back to the states. So please argue on facts. You are factually
Sir, the
incorrect.
Finance Commission talks about preconditions before
Yeah,
any
the Finance
forms of fund
Commission, that's what I'm
devolution shall
mentioning.
take place. The Finance Commission talks about all forms of preconditions, even with respect to electricity, Ujala
No
issue,
preconditions.
coal allotment, all
Binay
of
Singh
them
ji,
are being
Binay Singh ji.
considered.
Lokesh is so factually, it's
Okay,
incorrect,
now
it's unbelievable.
can we have Binay Singh and Mayank Singh on screen, please? Binay Singh ji, is there a possible attempt to evade meeting the Prime Minister or the Home Minister? As I earlier said, yesterday the big important Niti Aayog meeting taking place where all chief ministers had gathered. Nitish Kumar did not come. The pretext given was that he is not well. But he was attending another program in Bihar. Now, isn't it very clear that he is also giving out signals? He is giving out signals that he is not happy.
Sucharita, what signal political Sucharita, what political signal he wants to transmit, skipping the Niti Aayog meeting, I don't know. But as a Bihari, I feel that Niti Aayog meetings and attending the chief minister of the state in those meetings is related to the development of the state. And each and every CM has the role despite having differences. So look, JDU is in alliance with BJP, but many political parties, those who are opposed to BJP, like Mamata Banerjee, Hemant Soren, they all attended that Niti Aayog meeting. So it's not a political meeting. It's not a iftar party, or it's not a birthday party, or it's not a party organized by BJP. It's not a meeting organized by BJP. It's a government meeting, and it is mandatory for or compulsory, or it is morally obligatory to attend that meeting for every chief minister. So as a Bihari, I feel bad for that. So what political message he's trying to transmit?
Okay, now the news that's coming in right now. Okay, Binay Singh ji, the news that's coming in right now very clearly, that Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has now called on Nitish Kumar. Amit Shah now calls Nitish Kumar. That is the big news that's coming in. Now, that's the big political development that is taking place. Now, the Home Minister has dialed Nitish Kumar. So, Amit Shah now dials Nitish Kumar. Now, that is the big political development and ahead of an expected split between BJP and JDU. Now, ahead of an expected split between BJP and JDU, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah dials Nitish Kumar. Both the leaders spoke for some time. Okay, and Prakash Singh joins us on the phone line. Prakash, what is the detail that is emerging now? Home Minister calling Nitish Kumar very clearly, Nitish Kumar and BJP now. The news that's been coming in, they're going to be treading different ways. What has changed after this phone call?
Well, as far as this expected split is concerned, BJP obviously the spot of bother, and BJP not liking the fact that they're going to lose out an alliance partner. So Amit Shah, Union Home Minister, a bit concerned, dialed up Nitish Kumar to understand the problems, and we get to know that Nitish Kumar raised his concern, which he has been raising on various platforms for quite some time, and the various issues that crippled up for quite some time, being the statements being made by the second-rung leaders of the BJP against the alliance government. So we'll have to wait and watch whether there will be any kind of rapprochement or not, but the JDU seems to have gone a bit too far ahead as far as the negotiations with the RJD is concerned. And JDU is holding the meeting of the MLAs and MPs tomorrow. So is the RJD, and the negotiations have been going on for 3-4 months because Nitish Kumar eyes national ambition. So we'll have to wait and watch what kind of intervention does the BJP central leadership makes to effectively stop this alliance from breaking up, because JDU and the BJP has been a natural ally for quite some time, ever since the Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Advani era. So they want to salvage the alliance ahead of the 2024 elections, because Bihar being a crucial place as far as the electoral politics of the Hindi heartland is concerned, and more so because of the OBC politics here in Bihar and UP. So BJP clearly understands this, and they have already lost to the Nitish Kumar and Mahagathbandhan combined in 2015. So understanding this, the BJP has taken it seriously with the top leadership of the BJP in a huddle, all the important BJP leaders being summoned in Delhi, and they are meeting, and all the important leaders including Ravi Shankar Prasad, Shahnawaz Hussain, Sushil Modi being taken into consideration for point of view by the central leadership. And that's what we get to know, that the BJP is pretty concerned about the loss of an alliance partner, and the only alliance partner that existed in the NDA. So, big breaking news, Amit Shah finally intervening to save the alliance,
Right. So what Prakash, thank you so much for joining us on this story. Now, what Prakash Singh had to say is big, is huge. He's saying that the RJD and the JDU have moved far ahead in their negotiations as far as the alliance is concerned, and maybe that is where the news of the possible post of the deputy CM being offered to Tejasvi Yadav also came in. Now, if that is true, it will be a day of heavy political development in Bihar tomorrow, because the Home Minister now has personally intervened. He's called on Nitish Kumar. That conversation went on for a few minutes, but what has emerged out of it needs to be seen. I would like to thank all my panelists on Burning Question. That is all we had time for.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाइड क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 9 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass-comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
In a bizarre incident that came to light from Lucknow, a group of miscreants were seen shouting and yelling at each other inside the hospital ward of SPM Civil Hospital. Take a look at this video that went viral of shocking scenes at a hospital in Lucknow. Ruckus unfolded inside the hospital OPD as civil hospital employees were seen hitting each other with belts. Amid the unruly scenes, it was patients who bore the brunt. Taking stock of the situation, a probe has been ordered into the incident.
Now, following the demolition of politician Shrikant Tyagi's illegal house, the leader remains on the run. Sources telling Republic that Shrikant Tyagi to surrender soon. Following UP government's zero tolerance policy, Noida police slapped Gangster Act on Shrikant Tyagi, and his properties are likely to be attached. Meanwhile, his supporters also turned up at the housing complex, shouting slogans and asked for the address of the victims.
Bulldozers have been now called into Shrikant Tyagi's illegal residence as the abusive Neta from Noida remains absconding. The police continue search operations for the political leader who has had the Gangster Act invoked against him. While Shrikant Tyagi is on the run, Noida police has confirmed that a search operation has begun in multiple locations further linked to Tyagi. To nab him as soon as possible, they further say that they are in contact with all people known to Shrikant Tyagi to get knowledge of his exact location. Earlier in the year 2020, Noida police had sent a notice to Tyagi.
A shocking incident of stampede from Rajasthan's Sikar district.
A stampede broke out in the monthly fair of Khatu Shyamji temple. The stampede broke out at 5 a.m. in the morning. The stampede took place due to heavy influx of devotees at the entrance of the main gate of the temple. The police reached the spot and started the relief work. All the injured have been admitted to a nearby hospital.
According to the reports, the CCTV camera of the entire Khatu Shyam temple in and outside is also being intervened and also being investigated in this entire incident of 3 killings of women and the injured people as well. The injured are receiving proper treatment at Jaipur Hospital. Rajasthan government is also looking into the matter. In the Khatu Shyam temple incident, the investigation has started and is being carried out by Rajasthan administration. Along with video journalist Manish Harshatanwani reporting for Republic TV.
And here's a quick look at some other news that we are getting for you this morning. Pictures on your screen right now are of this abusive Neta who's still on the run. But apart from that, of course, there is a demolition that is being carried out in.
The JDU-BJP alliance in Bihar may be in trouble as sources indicate that Nitish Kumar spoke to Congress President Sonia Gandhi over the political situation in the state. Amid tension between BJP and JDU in Bihar, JDU MPs, MLAs and MLCs to beat the top brass in Patna tomorrow.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 9 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
A 19-year-old youth at the wheel of a red Jaguar rammed into a cab, a woman crossing the road, and a stationary BMW on Baliganj Circular Road in Kolkata, killing the woman on the spot and heavily damaging the vehicles. The individual was reportedly driving the vehicle owned by his father's real estate firm at breakneck speed when the accident happened.
In a bizarre incident that came to light from Lucknow, a group of miscreants were seen shouting and yelling at each other inside the hospital ward of SPM Civil Hospital. Take a look at this video that went viral of shocking scenes at a hospital in Lucknow. Ruckus unfolded inside the hospital OPD as civil hospital employees were seen hitting each other with belts. Amid the unruly scenes, it was patients who bore the brunt. Taking stock of the situation, a probe has been ordered into the incident.
Now, following the demolition of politician Shrikant Tyagi's illegal house, the leader remains on the run. Sources telling Republic that Shrikant Tyagi to surrender soon. Following UP government's zero tolerance policy, Noida police slapped gangster act on Shrikant Tyagi and his properties are likely to be attached. Meanwhile, his supporters also turned up at the housing complex shouting slogans and asked for the address of the victims.
Bulldozers have been now called into Shrikant Tyagi's illegal residence as the abusive Neta from Noida remains absconding. The police continue search operations for the political leader who has had the Gangster Act invoked against him. While Shrikant Tyagi is on the run, Noida police has confirmed that a search operation has begun in multiple locations further linked to Tyagi. To nab him as soon as possible, they further say that they are in contact with all people known to Shrikant Tyagi to get knowledge of his exact location. Earlier in the year 2020, Noida police had sent a notice to Tyagi.
A shocking incident of stampede from Rajasthan's Sikar district. A stampede broke out in the monthly fair of Khatu Shyamji temple. The stampede broke out at 5 a.m. in the morning. The stampede took place due to heavy influx of devotees at the entrance of the main gate of the temple. The police reached the spot and started the relief work. All the injured have been admitted to a nearby hospital.
Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw once famously said that if a man says he's not afraid of dying, he's either lying or he's a Gurkha.